That's an awesome video game character. That is so catastrophically leveled. And it's in this one scene that nobody fucking talks about. Let's talk about The Last of Us. I'll give you a rundown of what happens in the first game. Straight up. Lots of spoilers, obviously. I'm watching High Quality Gaming's YouTube channel. Okay, so Last of Us 1. Here's what happens. You play as this guy named Joel. Pandemic hits out of nowhere. He's got a 10-year-old daughter. She gets shot by the military in the opening scenes of the game. Boom, dies in his arms. He's wrecked. He turns into a smuggler during the apocalypse. There's zombies. There's bandits. There's horrible people in what is probably the cruelest game world ever. It's like a really horrible, dark, terrible place, right? Turns out this renegade group of good guys, the Fireflies, they want Joel to smuggle something. Joel's a really violent, he was a good dad, but now he's a very violent, horrible, really ruthless guy, right? And he's broken because his daughter's dead. His daughter's completely dead forever. So what happens is they say, hey, Joel, we need you to smuggle something. He has to smuggle this girl who's immune. She's got the cure for humanity. The entire game, Ellie and Joel, their relationship builds. At first, he's like, fuck that. I ain't taking the kid. I hate kids. My daughter's dead. But of course, after you go across the country with her, you see all these horrible things together. Joel loves her like a daughter, right? So what happens at the end of The Last of Us 1? Okay? Joel is trying to get this immune girl across the country because the Fireflies have a doctor that is pretty damn positive, and canonically speaking, it's implied that it was a pretty sure thing that Ellie has the cure for the infection in her body to save humanity and literally restore all things. Simply Susan says her mom just walked in and I look like a Backstreet Boy. Is that a compliment? He's bonded with this girl. He's got to know her. He now loves her because he's attached to her. He's protected her. And he gets them to the Fireflies in this hospital, which is where you are right now. While they take Ellie up to the operating room to get the cure from her, right? It turns out that these doctors have to kill Ellie to get the cure from her. She will die in the process of getting the cure for humanity, okay? He starts killing people in the hospital. These are the Fireflies. These are the good guys in the story. The Fireflies are the good people. Joel starts killing people. And the last level of the game totally manipulates you as a player, which is why I love Last of Us 1, and why I love Last of Us 2, because just like Final Fantasy 15 does with its camera and its emotional pull and stuff, what it does is it manipulates the player. And Last of Us 2 does it far more than one. But this final level where you're in the hospital, you are killing the good guys. You are now the villain on the final level. But again, this is from his trauma, losing his daughter, his emotional journey, and not wanting to experience that loss again. He goes completely irrational. And honestly, it just turns into a murder spree. And it culminates in this moment right here.
I won't let you take her.
No! You fucking animal!
It's okay.
Come on, baby girl. I got you.
Right before this, the people you fight try to eat you. They put this section right after the most violent group in the game. That's to establish that, and this is my opinion, that is to establish that, hey, that's the worst of it. That's the absolute worst of it. Now you're on to the good guys. You're within safety. Okay, so he kills these people. He takes Ellie. And the first time you're playing this, you don't think any of this is wrong. It's only after reflection that you understand, you could understand this from the beginning, but when I was playing this, I was like, oh my God, I fucking saved her. Thank God. I was just like, I saved him from those freaks, because when you're playing it for the first time, you're being emotional. You're just like Joel. You're like, oh my God, I saved her. It's awesome.
You can't save her. Even if you get her out of here, then what? How long before she's torn to pieces by a pack of clickers? That is, if she hasn't been raped and murdered first.
It ain't for you to decide.
It's what she'd want. And you know it. Look. You can still do the right thing here. She won't feel anything.
So just like that, as a writer, I know that the reason this confrontation even happens is that so this character, who's a friend of Ellie's, or who knew Ellie from before, can literally establish, hey, Ellie would want this. She's going out peacefully if we do kill her. There are far worse ways that she could die in this apocalypse. Bam. Like, there's a reason that's in the game. There's a reason that character says that. See, Bumblebee says, what I don't like about this is that Ellie is never given a chance. Okay, watch this.
Just take it easy. Drugs are still wearing off.
What happened?
We found the fireflies. Turns out there's a whole lot more like you, Ellie. People that are immune. There's dozens, actually. Ain't done 'em a damn bit of good, neither. They've stopped looking for a cure.
And right here,
Taking us home.
she, like, look at her face. Look at the action here. That is not just a that's bad news face. Murderer, shot her. That woman that was trying to make peace. And he's gone. He's got his girl, he's out of there.
I struggled for a long time with surviving. And no matter what, you keep finding something to fight for. Now, I know that's not what you want to hear right now.
Swear
Belle,
to
but it's-
me. Swear to me that everything that you've said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Okay.
You see her process the lie right there. You got Joel, he just fucked humanity, okay? That was unconvincing. You got it, hell with me. It was unconvincing to Ellie too. She's like, okay, you lied. And that's how the game ends, just like that. So the first time you play The Last of Us and that ends, you're like, here's what I thought. I was like, man, that fucking sucks. You didn't even get to choose. I went back and I played it. I was like, what happens if you just sit there? What happens if you don't try to kill the doctors? And I think what happens is you have to kill the doctors or you don't move on. What Last of Us does is it takes player choice away and then it says fucking deal with it. And I think that's super brave. And I think that's good. I think that's good storytelling. What if at the end of Saving Private Ryan, it's like, hey, Tom Hanks lives at the end. He doesn't get shot at all, and he's just a winner. And then you don't get him sitting on the bike. You don't get him shooting the tank with the 1911. You don't get the line of Tom Hanks telling Matt Damon that he needs to earn this, something that he lived for forever. You don't take a lesson away if it gives you the player choice. And Last of Us literally crams it down your throat that Joel is a bad guy. And that look that Ellie gives him at the end, like, it's greatly motion captured, and I'm glad they put it in there and they did a good job with it because clearly Ellie doesn't believe them. Fast forward to Last of Us 2. What happens is it opens the game and Joel and Ellie, it's 4 years later, Joel and Ellie are still like super, like Ellie does not trust Joel. She still hangs out with them and they're still like acquaintances, but there's a huge gap there because it's just been filling up. It's been filling up with this lie that Joel tells Ellie. Joel explains to his brother Tommy that, hey, I killed all the Fireflies. Ellie was the cure and I selfishly killed them all. And I ruined it. And Tommy's like, I would have done the same thing, brother. You know what I mean? And kind of supportive of him, which is also super fucked up. But fast forward to Last of Us 2, and this weird group of people shows up, and it's led by Abby here, who just won Performance of the Year. Abby, this character that we see right here with the ponytail, she's big and buff and strong. You don't know what her motive is. And then she runs into Joel in a snowstorm while Ellie is trying to catch up to him. And then we get this scene right here.
down the hill. Y'all should come back with us, restock before you head out.
Appreciate it. I'm Mel, by the way.
Tommy, this is my brother.
Joe.
Look at their faces right here. Oh my God.
Y'all act like you heard of us or something.
Because they have.
Laura, all clear?
He's out. Put him against the wall.
It's all very horrible. It's all very horrible. It's very, very, very terrible. And what happens is, again, that my boy Neil, he working hard, dude. Neil's working hard right here and doing some pretty nutty storytelling. And you've played as Abby a little bit in the game already. You've played as her for probably about 30 minutes to an hour. And all you really know is that they were looking for somebody. They were looking for somebody the whole time, right? And so obviously they find Joel. It's the person they were looking for. Turns out that these are the Fireflies, or a section of them who you don't know exactly why, but they caught wind that Joel did all this fucked up shit and doomed humanity. And what you would assume is probably killed some people that they love. While Abby is torturing Joel with a golf club in some pretty fucking brutal shit, it's really fucking dark. Ellie breaks in.
Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Please stop. Please don't shoot. Joel, please get up. No!
Bam. People hate. I hate Abby. I hate her. I hate her. Okay. When I played this, I was like, personally, I was shocked that they killed Joel like really, really early. In my head, I was like, I think it's interesting that they let you play as Abby before she kills Joel. So super fucked up. Abby's horrible. But this is the point where, to me, you can draw the line in the sand with people that are entitled and people that don't really have patience for narrative storytelling. This is where, I've been on the internet for 8 years, and this is where people start to think that characters are real and that Joel is a real person that they know personally. And this is why they attack Laura Bailey. That's it. That's what happened. Okay? They are not real Kay Boucher. But this is what happened. This is why they give death threats to this voice actress. So later in the game, we learn that Abby is the daughter of the doctor that Joel kills. Not only did Joel take away or not save humanity, not only killed her friends, there's homegirl right here, but also killed her fucking dad. And they do it in this great flashback scene. I think Abby's like 13 or 14 right here. But I was thinking, and I tweeted about this, what if this had been the opening scene of The Last of Us Part 2? Before you see Abby in the cabin, before you even meet Abby, what if this was the absolute first thing you see? You know what I mean? Like title screen happens, and then this is literally the first thing that happens. And you played it. And you knew as a player, oh wow, this is the hospital where it ended.
He's still in the fucking building? Abby.
No!
Abby, don't look.
Dad! Dad! No! No! Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Please stop. Please don't shoot. Joel, please get up. No! No!
The issue is that this scene happens about, and that's I wouldn't call it a mistake because I still think Last of Us 2 is pretty much perfect, but like this scene happens about 15, 16 hours into the game. You play a full game's worth of story before this happens in the game. The whole game is like 36 hours. It's long, okay? So I think, to me, it's like, it's just people didn't have the patience to understand, to think about things like motive, that Abby has a human being. There's moral gray areas all around. And I think that that's unfortunate that it comes so late, because there's a lot of people that wouldn't have the patience to get that far into the game. A lot of people just tuned out, and unfortunately, with their shallowness and incompetence, they, it's like, I hate Abby. That's whenever they say, I hate Abby. It's a stupid lesbian simulator, because Ellie's gay, which is fucking awesome. But because Abby is built out like a man, they're just like, it's nothing but stupid lesbians, and there's stupid slurs and shit. They just say all kinds of fucked up shit. I want to talk about Abby's body for a second, because I think it's awesome. And let me tell you why, and why it's frustrating for people to be like, no woman would ever look like that. My favorite scene in The Last of Us 2 is like, I haven't seen anybody else talk about it. I haven't seen. I'm the only person that I know that I've seen talk about the scene on the internet. And I just think it's probably the best scene in The Last of Us, because it tells you every single thing you ever need to know about Abby in one small scene.
Slow down?
No.
Is it this? It's this, isn't it? You are disgusting.
Notice her body. She's younger. She's fit, but she's not this enforcer like she is when she's older, right?
Don't be sorry. Talk to me.
I know all the leads have dried up.
To find Joel.
But Joel's still out there, you know?
I know. What can I do?
Let's go back. We can still make training.
Okay. What else do you need to know? Why is Abby huge? Why is Abby so hateful? Why is she so full of vengeance? She literally rejects love and romance with the person she loves, so she can dedicate her entire life to training for that moment when she kills Joel with a golf club. If you think it's like really brutal for Abby to kill Joel, it is. It's really horrible. But whenever she's swinging that golf club, it's because of this moment in her life. It is, no, don't kiss me. I'm too busy thinking about vengeance. I have to go make training so I can build my body into making a destructive killing machine, because the journey to kill Joel to avenge my father is going to be too much. And I can't sacrifice that just to kiss you. That's an awesome video game character. That is so catastrophically leveled. And it's in this one scene that nobody fucking talks about. You got it. Abby literally gave up everything so she can go kill Joel. That moment is everything. That moment of killing is worth sacrificing love for. Okay? Now that we've established Abby's the greatest video game character ever made, let me tell you why Last of Us 2 is Game of the Year. All right, you've tracked down Owen and his pregnant girlfriend in Ellie's fit of rage for vengeance for killing Joel. And that's what Last of Us 2 is about the circle of vengeance and how fucked up it is. Okay?
You guys can survive this. I just need her.
Bullshit.
So, structurally, as a player, what has happened is you play as Ellie, you play as Abby. Abby kills Joel, and then you spend 12 hours playing as Ellie on a quest for vengeance, okay? And then you play as Abby, and you come to understand that Abby is vindicated. She's gone through a shitload, and she's honestly like a really great, strong character. Yeah, and you want to kill Abby. This is at the end of your playthrough as Ellie. You have not seen what happens to Abby yet. Right now, as a player, I'm on Ellie's side. I know that Abby killed Joel. Fuck Abby. I'm gonna kill her. And this is what happens.
You. Come here.
Fucking get over here!
I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, Chelsea.
She's on this map. And then you.
You got it, Zach Jacket.
It better fucking match up.
And you're playing this. You have to play this shit. I think she just killed her and it cut it out.
Tell me where Abby is.
Where the fuck is she?
This is heavy shit. Okay, so here it comes. We know that everyone's validated. Right here, you really don't know who to root for anymore. You can sympathize with Abby, you can sympathize with Ellie, and rarely do video games ever do that, okay?
Just let him go.
Abby has Joel's brother hostage. And this is Abby's moment.
We let you both live. And you wasted it.
Wait! Get off of her! Move me!
Tommy lives, by the way. All kinds of shit goes down. You fight. Abby and Ellie, they battle, okay? They have this final fight in this theater, and they end up going their separate ways. They don't kill each other. Ellie goes back to a farmhouse, and she has a kid with her girlfriend, and everything's perfect. And as a player, you keep thinking, man, I really hope that Abby doesn't show up and murder me. Like, while you're playing it. But the thing is, you hope that she doesn't because you've played as Abby. And I think that's why you play as Abby so much. They might have known, like, man, it's going to be a son of a bitch to get players to sympathize with Abby. We have to lock them in with Abby for another 8 to 12 hours so they are forced to understand that Abby has redeemable qualities and that Abby is justified. That's why they show so much of Owen, Abby's world. That's why the scene is there where she denies him romantically so she can go get fucking yoked up to kill Joel. But that takes time. And unfortunately, this is not a series. This is not 2 seasons of television. This is a 35-hour game where you are murdering. There's a lot to unpack to make sure that the player understands that, hey, there's no bad guys here. It's everybody just trying to live. If you didn't have the time to show everything that Abby goes through, you wouldn't be sympathetic. And it would be unfair to her character. So as you can see here, they go on and they live a nice life. And Ellie starts to have PTSD. She's really fucked up because she watched somebody torture her father with a golf club, right? And even though Abby was psychotic, like, she's struggling on this farm. And Tommy shows up.
So I've been putting out feelers for months now. And this new guy heard my story. He told me about a woman that he traded with while he was moving through California. Described her as built like an ox, traveling with a kid with scars across his face. He said they're living along this coast. That's gotta be her.
Feel sad for Tommy? I know, man. Tommy's lost a lot too.
We're done with that, so.
Okay, and there you go. So there you go. Ellie's having flashbacks. She feels horrible. Here comes Tommy in with the fucking guilt strip. And Law Rendon, this scene killed me. Yeah, it does fucking kill you. It's heartbreaking. Maria leaves Tommy? Yeah. So Ellie says, no, I can't do it. You know, as a player, you're going to have to carry out this thing that you don't want to happen. You know, Kendra's in the chat. Man, I hate this. Law Rendon right here. This scene killed me. Yeah, it kills you. Why? Because you don't want her to do it. But the difference here, this is a video game. This isn't something you watch. This is something that you perform. You are the character. And that is it. What it does is it takes the medium of video games in interactive form, and it obligates you to do something you don't want to do. To me, what it does is it elevates video games to something better. For me, Last of Us 2 is a next-gen game, not just because it looks gorgeous and its combat is horribly violent. I guess I'm kind of a sadist, but like, for me, a next-gen game is something that does different, that elicits emotions. Ghost of Tsushima is an awesome game because it makes me feel chill and meditative, and I can think about whatever is going on in life while I play that, right? Last of Us 2 is a next-gen game is because it elicits a range of emotions from player out of obligation and just remorse, and it makes you feel these things by obligating you to do things you don't want to do. Abby goes to Santa Barbara, okay? And Abby is looking for the Fireflies. Abby gets kidnapped, and that's all you know. You play as Abby, you go to Santa Barbara. Think about everything I've told you. All this shit. Joel, the lie, the pandemic, being a survivor, watching him die, not letting Abby go. It's so much. It's so overwhelming. And this is after a long game. And Abby and killing Joel and feeling bad and going your separate ways with Ellie. It all culminates in this final moment, and it's amazing that it doesn't buckle. It doesn't buckle under the weight of all of it. Like, even if you hadn't seen Abby's perspective, you would still be sympathetic for her right here. And so while I'm playing this, here's what I'm thinking. Please don't kill her. Forgive her. Don't listen to Tommy. Don't kill Abby. And I'm thinking, I hope... I'm just telling you what I felt when I was playing it as a player. I'm thinking, as Abby, I'm thinking, please don't charge up Ellie. Please don't get violent. I hope neither of them does anything. And this is Lev. If you want to talk about trans characters, I believe Lev is a trans character. And they do handle it very eloquently. It's really great. Of course, the fucking trolls on the internet will say, you know, they'll get on their fucking horses and shit. But that is inclusion that makes a game so much better than fucking... If this was two dudes and a little girl, like, I don't... Like, cool, I've seen that. I could watch Point Break and that could happen. This is so much different and so much fresher to me.
This way.
And again, that's a great... Even the inclusive narrative could be a reason why this is valid for being the greatest game of the year. All right, here we go. And again, I'm thinking, hey, awesome. They're gonna make peace. She's letting Abby go. Ellie is gonna let Abby go, and she's gonna take Lev, and they're gonna be fine together. It's great. It's not Kelly B. Kizzy. That's Ellie. Oh my god.
I can't let you leave. I'm not doing this.
It hurts. So already as a player, I'm thinking, no, please. I'm thinking, oh, that sucks. She's gonna kill her. I'm gonna watch Ellie kill Abby. That's fucking horrible. I don't want to do it. I don't want her to do it, but it is what it is.
I'm not gonna fight you. Yes, you will.
And just like that, what a callback. What a callback to the first game. Ellie is now the villain. Like, if you want to say Abby can be perceived as a bigger villain right now, I don't know what game you're playing, man. Ellie is holding a 15-year-old hostage at knife point, forcing somebody who doesn't want to fight to literally fight in the water. That is as villainous as it possibly gets. I mean, she could hold a gun up to a baby if you wanted to, but like that's a passed out person that she's threatening. It's all come full circle. Ellie is now, like Joel, Ellie has become the man that lied to her, that doomed humanity, that told her that lied to her for years and never told her the truth. Ellie has been consumed by rage, by Joel, by her mistrust of Joel, by her PTSD of not being able to save him.
Okay.
And then, under all that you don't want to do, the game gives you control of Ellie. But unlike when you're Joel and you walk in, that emotional feeling I said, hey, whenever I was playing as Joel the first time, I'm gonna kill the doctor. I'm emotional, right? This is the complete flip. Now, since they have shown Abby so much, since they have shown me the other side, I now have the full story. And in that full story, I do not want this to happen. And the game says, fuck you. I even put the controller down to not do anything at this section. You lose. You lose the game. You have to win this fight. And you're just like, and I've never been on the edge of my seat in a game fight like this because I'm like, I don't know what the game is gonna do. I don't know what Neil and those motherfuckers are gonna do to me. You are doing these actions. You are feeling controller vibration when Ellie hits Abby. It's important to remember that. While we're watching this, just remember that you are doing these actions. You are pressing the buttons.
Go. Just take him.
I think that's the moment that Santa Barbara is in the game whatsoever. This moment where she's taking him hostage, because that is where Ellie has crossed into complete irrationality and villainy and has to redeem herself by letting Abby live. And I think that that's really, really cool. If the writing degree that I got taught me anything, it's this. When you're making any piece of content, you have a character. Your character's one way at the beginning. Something happens to him. They change at the end. What does she do with Abby at the end of the game? She forgives her. She forgives her for murdering Joel and putting her through hell and killing her friends, and she lets her go. That change comes through the vessel of player obligation. And you can think to yourself, how many times have you not wanted to forgive somebody? Or wanted to forgive somebody and you can't say you're sorry. What happens is the game manipulates you to deal with the fact that you don't want anything bad to happen to these players, and then allows the metamorphosis to come through of Ellie and her power to forgive after honestly beating the player down emotionally with so many with so much fucking shit. After 34 hours of gameplay, the game beats you down and then says, hey, here's the character change that you wanted. But since you played as Joel in the first game, you're also like, man, I kind of get why he did it, because like I said, in the first game, you're emotionally responding and you don't have remorse for what happens. So you know what it feels like to be Joel because you have experienced it as a video game. And that's why it's awesome. And that's why video games are the greatest medium there is. Movies don't do that. Movies make you watch. They don't make you act. In a video game like The Last of Us, there's maybe a couple of games, 2 or 3 games that exist that manipulate you like this game does, and is like a really awesome experience because of it. So Ellie, before her journey, is incapable of forgiveness. At the end of her journey, she can forgive. At the end of her journey, she can let Abby go for what she did. That's awesome. That's awesome storytelling. That's why it's number 7. That's why it's better than Breath of the Wild.